You know what's funny about collapse preparation? Everyone's buying the same stuff. Initial image, a montage or split screen showing various prepper items, gold coins, stacks of silver, a generic cryptocurrency logo, a handgun with ammo, and a pile of freeze-dried food. They're accumulating gold, silver, Bitcoin, guns, ammo, and freeze-dried food that costs more per meal than a high-end restaurant. Image, close-up on a luxury freeze-dried meal package, perhaps with a price tag showing an exorbitant cost. If you're watching this thinking, I can't afford any of that, I have a secret for you. You just got lucky. Image, a person, representing the viewer, looking thoughtful or slightly relieved, with a simple, ordinary background, not a prepper bunker. Here is what nobody tells you about economic collapse. The people who survive aren't the ones with the biggest stockpiles. They are the ones who become irreplaceable. When currency fails and supply chains break, there are two types of people, those who own things and those who can do things. One group gets robbed. The other gets protected. I'm about to show you the exact skill ladder that transforms you from vulnerable to valuable. Every single one can be learned cheaply or completely free. Because here is the truth they don't want you to know. Stuff makes you a target. Skills make you bulletproof. What actually happens when systems crack? Let's paint a picture of reality. It isn't Mad Max. It isn't a zombie apocalypse. It is something far more mundane and far more dangerous. It's Venezuela. It's Argentina in 2001. It's Lebanon right now. It's your neighbor losing their job, and 3 months later, standing in your driveway asking if you've got work for them. The pattern repeats every single time. First, there are shortages. Then, services break down. Then, cash stops meaning what it used to mean. Finally, people start trading food, labor, information, safety, and skills. The guy with a garage full of supplies is stressed. He is watching his hoard 24/7 because he knows the second people figure out what he has a problem. He isn't sleeping. He definitely isn't thriving. But the woman who can treat infections without a pharmacy? The guy who can fix the community's water pump? They get invited to dinner. They get protection. They get offered trades before anyone else. Desperation creates theft, but usefulness creates loyalty. No one guards a hoarder forever, but communities will fight to keep a healer, a mechanic, or a grower. Material wealth can be stolen in 5 minutes. Human capital, the knowledge in your head, cannot be taken, cannot be inflated away, and cannot depreciate. Tier 1, the foundation, instant utility. These are your foundation skills. They aren't glamorous. They won't make you a movie hero, but they make you useful on day one. This is what gets you into the circle of protection early. Basic first aid and wound care. Picture this, it's 3 weeks into a financial collapse. Your neighbor's kid cuts himself badly on broken glass. The bleeding won't stop. The nearest emergency room has a 6-hour wait, and they are only taking life-threatening cases. If you know how to apply direct pressure, recognize an arterial bleed, and clean a wound to prevent sepsis, you have just become survival infrastructure. During the siege of Sarajevo in the 1990s, regular civilians with basic medical knowledge became community anchors. Professional medical care was reserved for combat injuries. People with simple first aid training prevented deaths from infections and kept minor injuries from becoming catastrophic. This is a weekend course, often free, and it earns you trust that money cannot buy. Water safety and purification. If the water treatment facility shuts down, every person in your zip code has the same problem. How do you get safe drinking water without buying $15 a gallon bottles? Contaminated water kills more people in a crisis than violence ever does. During the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, more people died from cholera in the camps than died in the actual earthquake. The person who understands water safety, how to use bleach ratios, how to filter sediment, how to use UV light, and how to store water so it doesn't grow bacteria, is worth more than a person with 1,000 bottles. Because bottles run out, but the river keeps flowing. Cooking from basics and stretching food. When grocery prices triple and selection vanishes, morale crashes. This is where cooking from basics becomes psychological warfare against despair. It's about turning rice, beans, and oil into something people actually want to eat. During the Great Depression, the families that thrived were the ones who knew how to make stone soup, taking scraps and creating meals that kept the family functional and hopeful. Hope is what prevents a community from tearing itself apart. Heat and light reliability. When the grid fails in January, people die from preventable accidents. They burn their houses down with candles or suffocate from carbon monoxide because they use the wrong heater indoors. The person who understands safe ventilation, candle safety, and heat conservation is the person keeping the neighborhood alive. In the 2021 Texas blackouts, those who understood alternative heating were fine. Those who didn't froze in their own living rooms. Basic sewing and repair. Clothing is not a renewable resource when the stores are empty. A torn winter coat or a ripped pair of work pants can be a health hazard. Basic sewing transforms disposable items into long-term assets. During the Bosnian War, people with sewing skills were essential. They could turn 2 damaged coats into 1 functional one. They repaired the boots that stood between a child and frostbite. Tier 2, the barter skills, becoming a producer. This is where you stop being a consumer and become a producer. These skills create ongoing value that people will trade for. Food growing basics. Food growing isn't about having a 100-acre farm. It's about understanding how plants work in containers, balconies, and windowsills. During Cuba's special period, Havana transformed into an urban farming city. People learned to grow food anywhere. The people with growing knowledge didn't just feed themselves, they became teachers and traders. Seed saving and propagation. If you grow food but don't know how to save seeds, you are still a customer of a system that might not exist next year. Understanding which seeds save true and how to dry them for the next season is knowledge that multiplies value exponentially. One successful harvest can supply an entire neighborhood for the next year if someone knows what they are doing. Food preservation. How do you make the August harvest last until the February freeze? If you can dehydrate, pickle, and ferment, you are the bridge between abundance and scarcity. Fermentation is particularly valuable because it doesn't require electricity and creates probiotics that keep people healthy when medicine is scarce. Home and mechanical repair. Houses don't stop breaking because the economy fails. Leaks, broken windows, and clogged pipes become structural threats. If you can patch a roof or fix a bicycle, which will become primary transportation when gas hits $10 a gallon, you have a job for life. Mechanical competence is the difference between being dependent and being capable. Tier 3, protection by value, high status skills. These are rare skills that create protection by value. This is where the community proactively ensures you are safe because they cannot afford to lose you. Advanced first aid and infection management. Moving beyond bandages into wound closure alternatives and managing infections without a pharmacy. While you aren't a doctor, understanding the theory of field medicine in a disaster makes you a protected asset. Systems and organization. Chaos kills. The person who can organize supplies, build security routines, and lead calmly under pressure becomes the backbone of a functional group. This is a force multiplier for every other skill. Communication and negotiation. The person who can prevent a conflict is worth infinitely more than the person who can win a fight. De-escalation, reading people, and trading without being exploited are the ultimate survival tools. Your homework: where to start? I'm going to make this stupidly simple. Do not try to learn everything at once. Pick one skill from Tier 1. Start this week. Take a Red Cross course or watch 10 videos on water purification. Get that foundation. Pick one skill from Tier 2. Commit for 30 days. Grow a single tomato plant. Learn to sew a button and a hem. Build your network. Skills connect you to people. The guy alone in a bunker is one injury away from a slow death. The person embedded in a skilled community has a future. Conclusion: your brain is the only real bunker. Stockpiling without skills makes you fragile. All you've done is concentrate value in one location with a single point of failure. If you lose your stuff, you lose your life. But if you have capability, you can rebuild from zero. The world is full of people who bought their way into feeling prepared. They have the gear, but they don't have the know-how. When their supplies run out or get taken, they are just expensive refugees. Don't be that person. If you can't buy gold, become the person people would trade gold to keep around. The collapse isn't a light switch, it's a slow leak. You have time, but only if you use it. Stop trying to buy your way to security. Start building your way there. If you want to be the person with answers while everyone else is scrambling for solutions, subscribe now. I am building an entire blueprint for thriving when systems fail, and you don't want to miss a single piece. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.